On days 22 through 25, BB and Batgirl walked 54 miles. We saw lots of signs of moose on our hike, but this moose print came out the best. You probably remember that BB celebrated her birthday while she was hiking the long trail. And when she got to Manchester, a friend had sent her an apple pie as a present. She ate some of it in Manchester, and the rest she packed in her backpack, even though it's really heavy, and she and Batgirl heated it up over the fire. One of the coolest places that BB and Batgirl stayed in the last 5 days was a place called Stratton Pond, and here's a gorgeous view of the sunset at that pond.
Here we are on the top of Stratton. There's Stratton Mountain, Finder Learn How to Ski. And that is Bromley. Fire Tower. This morning we started at Sterling Pond right there. Stratton Pond. I had hiked up and over those mountains the day before. And then today we are going to hike up to there's Galen Mountain, which has a fire tower on the top. That's where we're staying tonight. This is our hike today. Here we have a beaver dam with a huge beaver lodge. Beautiful colored trees. And bonus, we have moose prints right in front.
Batgirl also found a carnivorous pitcher plant located near the beaver pond. Super cool. They climbed to the top of the Glastonbury Fire Tower. BB looks pretty small in this picture and then tiny when Batgirl finally reaches the top. They had hiked so hard to make it in time for sunset that they had a delicious pickle snack up at the top. And here's the reward for all that hiking, a beautiful sunset. The next morning they climbed the fire tower to see the sunrise.
Glastonbury Mountain, waiting for the sunrise. I think it's going to be a kind of cloudy day. Watch, you can see some clouds streaming by. It's cooling up right here early in the morning. Looking to the west, there's a little bit of color in the sky as the sun is rising to the east.
Here's a picture of the Glastonbury shelter where BB and Kim stayed near the fire tower. Here's a funny picture of BB. Her backpack is so heavy that when she tried to sit down on that rock, she just tipped right over onto the ground. So funny. Here's a picture of a split rock that you need to walk through on the trail. BB loves to boulder or climb on rocks, so Kim took this picture of her climbing up the split rock. I love this picture of Batgirl and BB sitting on top of a giant boulder. It's just beautiful. The trail is full of beautiful bridges, and BB and Batgirl went over this bridge and then climbed under it so they could soak their feet in the cool water and rinse off their hair. Here's the view overlooking the town of Bennington. There are lots of roots and rocks along the long trail that hikers have to walk over or around. We learned during the hike to watch out for rocks that look like this. They're whitish grayish and they look and are extremely slippery. Always watch out for this kind of rock. This tree, like many along the trail, is marked with the white blaze, but you might also notice that this tree is a great example of a tree with a burl. And a burl is a lumpy, knobby growth on a tree trunk, and it grows, is the tree's response to some sort of an injury. So it's kind of neat to see these. We also saw lots of evidence of active chipmunks. Here's little pieces of a pine cone on top of a boulder that a chipmunk had been eating. We also saw evidence of chipmunk homes, lots of little holes in the trail. Here's Congdon Shelter. It's another shelter where Batgirl and BB stayed and enjoyed a nice evening.
We are at the beaver pond, and here we have a salamander. A little newt is just under the water level. It has some gills, and on the back of his tail you can see some spots. I don't know if he's gonna swim away. Maybe we can make him swim away or something. A little eft. A little eft. Ooh, is he biting the... Oh, he's trying to... There he goes. He's swimming away. And we are... He's just floating. And we are at a beautiful spot. There's a beaver dam. Beautiful foliage. Way in the distance is the Beaver Lodge. And we've been on this rock as Vermont mermaids. Here's a blaze on this tree that has been chewed really narrow by the beavers that live right over there. In the distance we have a beaver lodge in the middle of the pond. And closer by we have another beaver lodge. This one's built into the bank with, looks like dinner right there. Today's view. Thank you to the power company.
These next pictures are all lasts. This is the last view in Vermont. So BB and Batgirl stood on the boulder. Here's their last descent down to the end of the trail. Here's the last trail journal. At each of the shelters, there's always a notebook where hikers can write down all of the things that they're thinking about. And they can also send messages to each other. Now, Batgirl and I didn't really write in these journals very often. When we would get to our shelter for the night, we were usually really tired, so we never took the time to write in them. At this last shelter, though, Batgirl felt that she really wanted to say something. And here is what she wrote. Batgirl, my first journal entry and last day on the trail, Sobo from Canada. I even crossed the Canadian border while closed for the COVID pandemic. Here's to Old Beagle, who will finish it in her own time. Finder, perhaps finding out what his future holds. BB, bold broad, for teaching this old Vermont lady so much. Signed, Batgirl. Here's the Seth Warner shelter, the last one on the Long Trail. Here's the walking out of Vermont and walking into Massachusetts. Here's the end of the trail. From here, Batgirl and BB walked all the way down into North Adams, Massachusetts, carrying all their wonderful memories of a great hike on the Long Trail.